Welcome to the Alien Scientist Truth and Science Hour. The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views of our Zen Live TV producers or the guests that we may have on from week to week. So please keep that in mind as you view the content we put out each week. We have different guests on. We like to cover a lot of different controversial subjects. Not everyone agrees on on the same things all the time. So just keep that in mind. It's not a general blanket rule that everyone on the show agrees with everyone else all the time. Also, I'm still looking for a sponsor for my weekly Zen Live TV broadcast. If you've got a business or a product you'd like to help sponsor my show and get some advertisement and publicity at the same time, please contact me. AlienScientist at AlienScientist.com is my email, or you can contact me on the Facebook page, AlienScientist.com on Facebook. $200 a month, and you get a plug at the beginning and the end of every show, and ads up on my website and stuff, and my forum once my forum gets back up online. Still working on that. Got some progress being made on that currently, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that went down with the forum last time, and what all happened right before the forum went down, and then what happened in the process of trying to get it back up, and a lot of other things that have gone on in the time since. So my guest for today is one of the old admins on my forum, and he's been a contributor on the forum for quite a while. Unfortunately, all of his posts that he had on my forum originally got deleted, and his name's Dan Benkert. Dan will be joining us shortly. I'm going to have him call into the show in a little bit here and join us, and he's going to talk a little bit about what happened with the forum, what's going on right now with all these little infights between some of our old admins and some of the other people that have gotten involved with all the information that we were putting together there. So I'm going to add him to group call and see if we can do that. All right. He is on with us. Dan, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Jeremy?
Good. Dan's been a contributor to the forum. He posted a lot of really great content there over the years. He's actually been heavily involved in a lot of stuff in ufology, more so the UFO stuff than the other conspiracy stuff in general. And Dan's actually known personally quite a few people, big names in the UFO community and out in the world about, and he's done a lot of interesting things over the years. But today we're going to talk about my forum, disinformation. Really, I have on the board behind me the 5 Ds of disinformation, and number 1 is distracts, number 2 is divide, number 3 is deny, number 4 is debunk, and number 5 is discredit. And I don't think they're in any particular order. They can be in any order, used simultaneously or one at a time. And there's lots of other similar tactics with similar methods that we've noticed over the years, just trying to weed our way through this labyrinth of disinformation, just to try to find out what the truth is. You know, going over Dan's like a library or encyclopedia of UFO case knowledge, and me and him have just gone over. He used to be on another forum and stuff, and he's debunked so many cases and you know, gone full circle on a lot of things too. You know, you believe something for a number of years, and then you find something out, and you make a break in the case, and all of a sudden, you know, that everything and you got a whole bunch of people hating you because you debunked something, and you get deleted and kicked off forums. That's happened before, and it's really interesting when you're dealing with this type of stuff, because really people are married to certain beliefs. It seems very oftentimes that they're very, very passionate about what they want to believe, and one of the things I noticed about this, I really want to talk about it, is you can actually get nauseous physically. You feel physically nauseous when your beliefs are attached to your ego, you feel personally insulted, and you also feel like physically nauseous when someone's debunking you or something. You go on something, and like for instance, like I used to go on and argue 9/11 conspiracies and stuff, and I'd go on and leave a whole bunch of comments on like JREF forums or on YouTube comment section or something. And then I'd come back a couple hours later and I'd find a bunch of replies, and I'd go and I'd cringe just reading the replies because I knew these people are lying and they're just full of shit. You know, like you get that physically nauseous feeling, and I come to realize that that's actually bad. That when you're getting that physical nauseous feeling, that means that your ego is attached to your belief system, and that's what's literally causing that psychological, physical afflictions. And I came to this epiphany at one point in my conspiracy theorizing career or whatever you call it, where I decided that I'm not really concerned with what's true or not. I mean, I'm not really married to an idea. I am concerned with what's true or what's not true, but I'm not going to marry myself to a certain given opinion or a given idea. And I'm going to be open-minded to new information and new things, even if it conflicts with everything I think I know, And after a point within your research, if you've come across a case where you've built up just an amount of evidence so strong that you know that it can't possibly be that easily debunked, where you're I mean, it became like a point where it shifted tides where I was like scared of going online and seeing what they would type, to the point where I was like, I can handle anything that these people throw at me. And like, I was just, rather than feeling nauseous, I'd be anxious. I'd want to just get in there. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to see what kind of bullshit excuse they made up now so I can rip them apart. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, it changed after a point where we're just experienced of dealing with the information, dealing with the topic, knowing your topic inside and out, and putting in the time and research and stuff. And then you get to a point where you know a topic so well that you're no longer going to be afraid if someone's on there saying a bunch of stuff, because if it's not true, then you're going to be able to prove it not true, because you know your facts and you know your information. You're going to be able to just rip them apart, which is where you're going to want to be at. If you're in that stage where you're getting physically nauseous because this information is conflicting with your prior viewpoints, you need to check yourself. I think, and because I've noticed that with a lot of things. Like I posted that big Boston bombing thing where I basically exposed all the disinformation in that case, and I had people saying that they felt physically nauseous just watching me, because what I was saying conflicted with their ideal of what the truth was, and so therefore I was an enemy, and I wasn't really trying to give them any valuable information or insights into what happened, even though I went to the crime scenes and did my own investigation personally on the scene. I thought that was just an interesting observation, and I wanted to understand a bit more about why people get physically nauseous when actually debating things of seemingly little physical significance. They're all only psychological. It's just your beliefs being questioned. But anyways, being a truther is about being a skeptic, I believe, and it's about really just being open-minded and wanting to find what the real answers are. And also, I think, like, as I talked about in my other podcast with my John Michael Talbot of the Debunkers blog spot and stuff, it's really it's about questioning and challenging authority as well, and not just saying that I'm a skeptic of anything that challenges the official dogma. That's not being a skeptic. It wasn't a skeptic to be like, for instance, the cardinals in the Roman Catholic Church who questioned Galileo. They were skeptical of Galileo when they should have been skeptical of everything, of both sides. Of the Roman Catholic Church's side, who was saying that the sun was the center of the universe, or the earth was the center of the universe. But then he had Galileo showing these observations, the astronomical data, and real hard evidence on the other hand. And I don't know. It's just it's a live and learn process, but we're going to talk about some of the bullshit that we've been through personally over the past couple of years, really, that we've been doing this together, and the people that we've become involved with. We've met through various online associations. These people, when I get this forum going, and actually some of the people that helped me create the forum, talked me into creating the forum in the first place. I don't know if I really call him a disinformation agent, but I really have my doubts about him. I promoted Ed Fouche for a number of years. We had this falling out. As some of my audience members know, I posted a video of him basically admitting to being a disinfo agent and saying that he lied and made stuff up. And I said if I ever found out any kind of proof or information like this, then I would expose him. It just so happened that I had that video shown to me, and I was very concerned about a lot of the things that he had said. There was a lot of questions I had about his testimony, his story, and stuff. And to do diligence to a lot of, even though I had supported this person for 3 years, I came out with that and showed people what I thought was, an admission of guilt from him to a certain extent. But and then me and Danny have gone back and forth on this, so whether or not Ed was just saying that to bullshit or to because there's a lot of bullshit that he said that wasn't true too. Who knows if he's making all this up, because there's a lot of stuff of Ed's story that you can't really fully debunk or deny anyway. And he has extensive military, but you can't prove anything either. And that's the important thing, is you don't have to be able to debunk something. Just because the sheer nature of us not being able to debunk something doesn't mean that it's therefore by default true. I think in order for something to be true, it has to be proven true, not just stated as true or signed in an affidavit in a court of law or forwarded as the truth. It needs to be actually proven with sufficient evidence, and it's up to the person making the claims to provide the proof. Really, it's not up for the other people to provide debunking or counterclaims to, say, because I could say, hey, look, aliens come down to my, they visit me and take me up in their spaceships and fly me around and stuff, and you can't prove that wrong, so therefore it must be true. No, that's not the way it works.
Stan Romanek.
Stan Romanek, yeah. I talked about meeting him when I went down to Colorado, and I met Stan Romanek and met some of his associates, and I kind of did my own little investigation of Stan, and I really was just interested in the equations that he had from his book and some of this talk about advanced propulsion technologies, because hey, I'm a physicist, that's kind of what I'm interested in. And I was able to track down where he got those equations from, and it was a paper by Hal Puthoff on polarizable vacuum effect, basically a theoretical proposition for how to break the speed of light is what he wrote the paper on. So it just basically explains how interstellar travel could be possible, like how you could break the speed of light theoretically. And it seems interesting that Stan ran across that paper and just stole the equations from it. But
well, remember,
it's obvious.
Stan would claim that he would be sitting there, and all of a sudden he said he wouldn't even have to be looking at the patent papers looking at. He said he would just be sitting there and these equations would be going through his brain, and he'd be writing them out. Just sitting there writing them out. Come on, these equations took up pages. Luckily, you were the guy, if I remember correctly, that debunked that completely. That Stan Romanek was the guy, or that Hal Puthoff
that found out where that came from and solved his mystery equation, I guess.
Yeah, that was, and his mystery alien in the window. So when you have a guy faking this equation, what else is he faking? That's where
right. When you caught him, I caught him red-handed with the equation. It's obvious that he took it from Hal Puthoff. So there couldn't have been any similarities or just whatever. Yeah. So if he's faking that, what else is he faking? Obviously, the alien in the window, it looks pretty fake. The fact that he charged for it and set up a thing where he charged per download and basically monetized the entire thing. It's kind of and then he's selling books and giving off these presentations and stuff. And I mean, some of his presentations are almost laughable. It's like, take a seasoned UFO researcher like Danny or myself. I wouldn't really call myself a seasoned UFO researcher. I really don't spend so much of my time on UFOs as much as I do on technology and science and other things. But take someone who knows all this case history and just jumble it all together in one big story and mix it all together, and that's Stan Romanek. He's got a piece of every single UFO claim or story in history all bundled into one. He's obviously a UFO fanatic. He probably enjoys looking up all this stuff and spun this whole thing together and said, hey, I'm going to make money off this, and will I won't have to work anymore. I'll just go and give I'll go and give speeches and talks and presentations and lectures about how these beings from the Andromeda galaxy came down and burnt holes in my, backyard and
Yeah.
put things in my leg, and I don't know, he healed his knee in miraculous time and all this stuff. But
Well,
yeah,
thing is with the audience, a lot of the problem is with YouTube now. I can admit this from my own experience. When you first start looking into UFOs and all the people that are out there and stuff, you're naive. And you're going to believe, if you're naive enough, you're going to believe a lot of the stuff that's out there, like Dr. Reed, the guy that claims that the alien ate his dog and all that stuff, and turned his dog into dust out in the middle of Washington forest, and then he hit it over the head, and then he took it home and into his garage and so forth, and then untaped the thing, and
right,
the thing's screaming, and he's turning the thing's head and all that stuff. And then you find out that he was living with some woman when this happened, and that wasn't even his garage, and some other things. But the problem is the people that are young that just get into ufology, they believe everything they read, and it takes years to learn. I can spot bullcrap from in 2 seconds. Okay.
yeah.
But some of these younger guys, they'll just argue with you forever that this guy's telling the truth and that guy's telling the truth. When you and I, people have looked into this for 10 years, 15, 20 years,
Right.
you can see right through the BS. It's so easy, but some people that may have a military background may tell a story. Um, it, 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 they use their military background to add credibility to their case, as Ed did. Ed always says, "Hey, I have 900 documents, saying this and that," but none of those 900 documents say Ed's in fact worked on a craft called the TR-3B.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that says that. We have Ed's word, okay?
Right.
Now we have people seeing these giant flying triangles flying around. What are they? And
Yeah.
you know, it's like I said, we've bounced back and forth on Ed for so long, and it's because Ed will tell us stories one day, and then the next day we'll find out some of them are bullcrap, and
The
it's
thing
just
I thought
it's
was
difficult.
interesting is the whole plasma centrifuge engine with the mercury-based plasma, and he gave these technical specs, but the technical specs that he gave really didn't make any sense. I mean, 250,000 atmospheres of pressure is incredibly high. There's nothing that it would be unfeasible to really pressurize anything that high of a high pressure, and mercury would probably turn solid if you pressurized it that high. Um,
How would you
or if you
pressurize
freeze
something to
it.
250,000
Yeah,
atmospheres to
how
begin
would
with?
you?
How would you
How?
how would you even pressurize
I mean,
anything
you
to
could.
100,000 atmospheres?
You
What
could
would you?
you could provide that much force. Yeah, pressure's a force per area, but I mean, so you could really like just pile weight on top of something until it crushes. Like there's that much pressure inside the Earth because you have all the weight of the Earth pushing in on the core and stuff. But
Yeah,
as far as a contained vessel that I don't know. There's just a lot of things that it didn't really make sense, or it didn't lead to any actionable intelligence. It wasn't actionable intelligence. The intelligence that he gave us about the technical specs that he gave us didn't lead us to any sort of insightful information, and that's the number one thing I think is led me to realize and spot disinformation. Is it actionable intelligence? Is it real intelligence? Does it actually do something for you, or just does it send you in the wrong direction, or just is it just a bullshit thing that just sounds good but it doesn't really mean anything? And
well, he's always said that the information he's gotten is secondhand. He's
right.
always stated
So
he
who
never
knows?
worked on the craft. So did someone feed him a line? But the thing that's weird is,
Well, I've read Alien Rapture too, like his book, and he said it's loosely based on his own life. And I remember he's told me the characters in the book were based on people that he knew in real life, and it's basically about this guy in the military that got into all this UFO stuff, that interested in it all, or whatever, and basically went on this mission to come and find the truth. And he talked to this doctor and all these other people and tried to get a whole bunch of information from them, and basically, I don't know, the people in the book that he talks about, he's given me their real names and stuff. I haven't been able to really verify them or look anything up on them, but I don't know if he's just made all that up too, because it's really hard to say,
it
especially without
is.
any evidence of this TR-3B or this advanced plasma centrifuge engine, which I've been trying to reverse engineer, so to speak, since I heard about the Podkletnov effect and Ning Li and all the other scientists who were working on this. Whit Brantley of NASA's Advanced Propulsion Labs and stuff, and the replications that they did on the Podkletnov effect and all that kind of stuff. I looked more into the science and stuff than these so-called whistleblowers with these information that really is, it sounds technical but isn't really insightful in any technical way or any scientific way. And then comes the question is, oh, did he really hear stuff, but he didn't have, that's what Ed claims, is he didn't have the scientific knowledge or background to really understand what he was hearing around Area 51 and these bases and stuff. And I'm like, really, I mean, maybe, but still, it's without a, what difference does it make if he's not giving us any tangible information that really is important at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Compare that with a leaker or whistleblower like Edward Snowden and all the documents that he released. Although I have my own opinions on Edward Snowden and the way he did things, we haven't seen most of those documents. Everyone he's given them to has basically wagered them as collateral to do whatever, you know. Of course, Snowden's wagered documents and stuff on his own life to protect himself. Probably sold stuff to the Russians just to have, to help. He's probably helping the Russians out. I read a whole thing on that because he's living over there. That they have to, in order for them to protect him and take care of him, he has to be doing something for them. Probably doing some kind of work or sharing something with them. And then Glenn Greenwald is the one that got all the files, but he's releasing them at such a slow rate, we won't see them all until 48 years from now. So it's like, really, what difference will it make 48 years from now that we'll have a surveillance state and then it'll be completely friggin' too late to do anything about all the surveillance at that point, you know?
What shocked me about Edward Snowden is the guy's a high school dropout. I mean, I thought that these contractors that work for the National Security Agency and whomever that are within government, I think that they would vet them to the point that, hey, you got to at least be able to have a high school diploma at the very least, I always thought. But this guy dropped out of school. I was reading different things about him. I hope that's true. Because I'm sitting here saying it. And that right there just shocked me because I'm like, how loose, are they with this information? This guy was working for a contractor. Kind of reminds me of that movie, The Falcon and the Snowman, where you had... what's his name? Sean Penn was in it, and they were working for TRW, and the guy was selling information to the Russians. The one guy was like a whacked out drug addict, and he was getting information from Timothy Hutton. Did you ever see that movie, The Falcon and the Snowman?
No, I haven't seen that.
You gotta see it. It's fantastic. It's from the '80s. Sean Penn was young, but it's like, how does the government field these people for these types of positions? I mean,
look at Aldrich James, Jonathan Pollard.
Aldrich James was huge. You brought that name up. He was a spy for the Soviet Union that worked for our government and got life in prison. As a matter of fact, he's in a federal penitentiary right here in Pennsylvania called Allenwood, and he's actually in the underground prison up there. The whole thing is underground.
Wow, yeah.
There's 5 prisons there, yeah, and he's.
I remember reading all their stories of all the big leaks and big spies that have ever happened. This one guy for the FBI that was for a while he was leaking all kinds of stuff, man. Freaking, I don't know if he was he wasn't Deep Throat, but that was Daniel Ellsberg, I believe.
Oh yes.
Throat. But no, this other guy was FBI agent, and he just did it for some weird reason. He just felt betrayed by something or other, and like no reason. He just decided one day that he'd start giving intelligence to the Russians, and was doing it for years until they finally caught up with him and caught him. They found his drop spot in this park and everything, and I'll have to look up his name while we're on break and find it. But yeah, you read up all these different stories of all these people, and like, how do these people pass slip through the cracks? And then some of them continue to operate for years.
Yes.
They still didn't find them. They still didn't figure it out. And
like Aldrich James, he was living in a house. Okay, the guy was getting a salary like $70,000 a year, maybe $60,000 a year, living in a house that was like $1 million. Don't they check these people's bank accounts or their lifestyle? I always like from what Ed said, if you remember the character Gerald that he talks about,
Yep.
Gerald worked for a team, which was something tactical, something assessment, something team. I can't remember exactly what it means, but he literally said they're what the men in black really are. And what these people were the people that went around and checked on people that worked at Groom Lake and other top secret projects in the Nevada test range or in Nevada, period. And he would check on them and see if, a guy with a drinking problem, if he's drinking a little bit too much and mouthing off and saying, hey,
Right.
this is going on up there, that's going on up
Or
there.
they'll get people to pretend to be Russian agents and try to like see if they'll sell out and like take the money, and see if they'll
Absolutely.
report it. Like they'll go up to him and be like, "I work for FSB. I will give you a $100,000 suitcase full of cash for blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah," and just to see if they'll go for it, if they'll report it or whatever. And yeah, Robert Hansen was the guy's name I was thinking of from the FBI. He was a big spy, man. He leaked all kinds of stuff. He leaked the identities of all our top spies to the Russians during the Cold War.
Yeah, he
And
got people killed.
yeah,
He had many people killed. As a matter of fact, didn't he get the death sentence? If I
no,
remember correctly.
he's in United States Penitentiary, Florence ADX. It says.
That's Florence, Colorado. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of that's underground also. That's
that's
about
the
the
big
worst
one.
prison you can be in.
Yeah, he
Um,
never getting out of that, man. Yeah,
yeah, no way.
place.
Yeah, you couldn't get out of there if you had tools.
But
It's impossible.
we're at the half-hour mark, so we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we get back, I want to get into this Outpost Forum stuff and the forum that we'll talk about that a bit more. So let's take a quick break.
Okay, cool.
Addicted to Ink, a proud sponsor of the Zaraza Entertainment Network, is Westchester's premier tattoo, piercing, and apparel destination.
Hang on a second.
Offering only the finest tattoo and piercing services, as well as the best atmosphere you will find. Addicted to Ink is located conveniently at 38 Westchester Avenue in White Plains, New York, right across the street from the Westchester Mall. If you got the itch for more ink, like the Zaraza boys do, get your work done right. Visit www.addictedtoinktattoos.com for more information.
I turned the light on. See better.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired?
Yes.
Does the stress of daily life seem just like too much?
Yes.
Are you simply fed up?
Yes.
Do you wish you could just make it all chill out?
But how?
Well, then you need a Royale grinder. Royale grinder is a jumbo-sized 2.5-inch diameter premium 4-piece herb grinder that fits in the palm of your hand, with 50 closely interlined, everlasting chunky teeth that will keep on shredding whatever enters your chamber.
I can use it for all my herbs. Thanks, Royal Grinder. I'll never feel shitty again.
Order now at www.royalegrinders.com. That's www.royalegrinders.com. You're back.
All right, so we're back. We're talking about disinformation specifically, and sort of our biggest enemy in the truth war, aside from just not knowing the truth and having so much struggle to go through. We're talking about the opposition and the forces that exist sort of against us, and even within our own groups. Maybe they're not necessarily agents. Maybe they're just people out there that working against the agenda just because of who they are and their tactics and methods of analysis and finding the truth. And like Dan mentioned, the people that are just getting started into this, they do like 2 months worth of watching YouTube videos, and suddenly they think they're an expert, and they're arguing with people like us who have been researching it for 10 years and know the stuff inside out and whatnot. But I want to talk specifically about like the disinformation groups and the men in black, what it used to be back in the day, or what it sort of has evolved into now, essentially, with the internet. And the internet is just this massive database, this ability to spread information like never before. And it's also a vehicle to spread disinformation, as I've pointed out in some of my previous videos, as well. And I want to talk about exactly how we believe, through reading CIA books, CIA documents, and other stuff, how the actual intelligence agencies engage in this sort of activities and what they do. Because there's a lot of misconception out there that the CIA just hires case officers, trains them at the CIA Academy, and then employs them to go out and shill online all day and just sit on the internet and chill. Really, that's not really a good tactic. It's a waste of resources, and it's a waste of the training and everything else that would go into that. I also want to point out that the difference between CIA agents, what is called an agent, and what is called a case officer. The CIA does not train agents. The CIA trains case officers. So this is according to CIA Diary. It's a book by Philip Agee. He worked for the CIA for a number of years and then came out and wrote a whole book about his entire experience, documented it all, and basically breaks down exactly how the CIA works from the inside. All the information. There's even more good stuff on cryptomi.org. A lot of good documents and other stuff. But basically what they say is the CIA doesn't train agents. The CIA trains case officers. And the case officer then manages a bunch of agents. And the agents work in different varieties, not directly for the CIA, but under direction of a case officer. So a case officer might be, this was the guy who is the CIA agent. He probably assumes a cover or a fake name and goes out and then works other people who are actively worked as agents. And it's much easier than for the CIA to go out into the world and find lots of crazy, fucked up, mentally retarded people out there, because there's plenty of them on the internet, in case you haven't noticed if you haven't been on the internet and argue with people. So there's plenty of just mentally retarded people out there. The CIA doesn't need to hire these people and put them through, intelligence school and training. They don't need to do that. All they need to do is get a case officer. They go out and find these people, befriend them, say, "Hey, my name's Jim or Jerry, blah blah blah. Hey, what's going on? I like your work. I like what you're doing," and promote them financially, support them, give them a website, hook them up with book deals. Find the craziest people that you can and just prop them up, because that's easier to work. It's easier to work that way as a case officer would in a real agency or intelligence setting. It doesn't work like they hire a room full of people just to sit on computers all day and do this. No, they make people out there who are already freaking batshit insane do it for them. And they do it much more. It's much more easy to do it that way. It's slick, and you don't have to pay these people because they go and do it willingly. All they need is a slight little misdirection or a push in the right direction, and say, "Oh, hey, I like what you did here. Let me support you." Or it could be any little nudge like that. Sure. I don't really know the exact methods and that they would do it, but you have to think about it. Like, it made a lot of sense when I was reading that part in his book about when he talked about what agents are and what case officers are. He said agents is a term for people that work at the end of the line. They don't work directly for the agency. They work under the guise and operation of a case officer, who then manages and directs those people. So they basically, like, the case officer works like a puppet master, and he's working under a director who's telling him what to do and how to play these strings and pull these certain strings and manipulate certain people within the movement. So they just go out and find people who are already within the movement, who are already like infiltrated, already out there, already doing this. And they corrupt them, manipulate them from behind the scenes. It's much easier to do that than it is to just sit there and train or pay, constant disinfo shills to do this. I mean, you might pay one guy to go out and mislead all these people and whatnot, or to make a documentary or a video that will confuse these people or mislead them. But it's really generally a lot easier to do it in these methods than it is to hire CIA officers to sit on computers all day and do that kind of stuff.
Would a case agent be what we would have called 30 years ago a handler?
Yeah, they're a handler, a puppet master, an operator.
Like George de Mohrenschildt was to Lee Harvey Oswald, possibly.
Right, yeah, leading Lee along and letting Lee stay with them, hooking him up with the people that gave him the job at the school book depository. Sort of this hidden person assumes a cover, assumes benign reasons for contacting Lee. Oh, he's just a Russian, and I was looking out for my fellow Russians, even though he's a rich oil man and doesn't really care about who the heck Lee Harvey Oswald is, just some Marine. a loser, if you will. Nobody liked him and whatnot. But yeah, it's this very similar idea. You look for these
Lone nuts.
the operators that operate above those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't even get into the whole
Yeah. No.
lone nuts and all that stuff, man.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the whole I thought that was really interesting when I read that from David Agee's book about the case officers versus agents, you know, and what agents are, and agents you might not you could be an agent, but you won't even know you're an agent. That's the fucked up thing about it, man. Is
Yes, you could be used and not even know
you
it.
would not even know it. You could be I'll put an example out like Judy Wood or Andrew Johnson, that guy. He firmly believes no planes, nanothermites, disinformation. He's actively debunks the nanothermite and tries to push people towards these space lasers because maybe he's MI5, maybe he's British intelligence or whatever, as some people have suggested. But I doubt it. I think he's just some idiot that they got and said, "Oh, we can manipulate this guy by sending him so." You know, like they just put out a disinformation like Judy Wood or something. They put out that stuff and hope that there's people out there that will pick up on it so strongly that they'll self promote it, like, and become essentially hubs for spreading the disinformation and stuff. And
I actually know him. I met him through Ed. Did you know that?
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, and he's absolutely convinced 100% with the Judy Wood stuff. But
yeah.
Besides from that, I wanted to tell you something. When it comes to this type of information and a person not knowing that possibly they may be an agent and not even knowing it, I've thought to myself with this whole case with Ed Fouche, because I've supported that guy for so long, off and on though, because him and I will have fights.
Right.
And I've often thought to myself, am I promoting something for a higher power?
Right.
With this TR3B thing, where the hell's my paycheck if I am? Am I promoting this TR3B thing, and this TR3B thing is disinformation because this flying triangle actually exists, but it's something else, and they just want people to think, oh, that's just our Air Force's latest technology. Our Air and Space Command, I should say. If you look at, they're actually admitting now that they have a space command. It's no secret anymore.
Secret space program.
Yeah, if you look up Peterson Airfield, it'll say, and you look up Peterson Space Command, it'll say Peterson Air and Space Command, and it used to have jobs listed on there saying that you need to be able to stay in space for 6 months at a time, and I'm like, what? You know, and there was it got around the internet circles and the forum circles. Like reading some of the job descriptions on there, it was unbelievable. It was like basically talking about starships and basically admitting
we need someone to live on the moon and help us build a moon base. And
yeah,
wait, what? We have a moon base? What? No.
Yeah, like you need a construction experience, and you had to be willing to tolerate space for 6 months. Well, how would you know if you're willing to tolerate space for 6 months? I mean, you can't just. I guess you just can't walk up to your boss and say, "Hey, I'm going home sick today." You know, you're looking at Earth. It's that way. You know.
I'm ready to go home now.
But yeah, I know. But I do believe John Leonard Walsh, and I do believe those big space platforms he sees are real, and I have my reason for believing that, and it has to do with analog filtering. And he's able to see these platforms where these newer digital cameras can't see them. And I've talked to a very, very intelligent scientist about this, and he has said, "You're dead on the money with this."
I definitely want to save Secret Space Program for another show. We could probably go and do like a 3-hour show just on that topic alone.
We will.
But let's
I'll get some good guests.
We got like 15 minutes left. I just want to talk about the forum and where things are right now so people know. The forum went down back in October. We don't know what happened. I got a bunch of spammers got on. They must have found a way to hack through the admin panel somehow, because I had three spam accounts as admins. Somehow they had hacked in and made themselves admins on my forum. So like whoever these spammers were, I don't think they were malicious. I don't think they were government agents infiltrating. I think they were just these spam bots. These people literally they sit out there and they try to hack forum software and other things, and that way they can build a bot, and the bot just goes and exploits all these forums that have this exploitable bug in them, and uses it to get into the forums and then put spam all over them. So they try to find all these forums with tens of thousands of followers and viewers, and they build a bot which will go and infect them all with spam so that they can spread that spam out to like thousands of people. It's just a fast way to do it. If you're a programmer, you just find this exploit and then you just build a bot that goes and it's an algorithm. It just goes and searches the internet for any forum like that, and then it hacks its way in once it finds one, and you just build that bot and let it run, and they basically they're just these. It's some asshole in China or fucking France or Russia or something that just. He's some computer hacker, and he just sets up like 10 of these computers and just sits there and lets them go, and he makes like maybe friggin' $20 on friggin' ad revenue from doing it. And
yes,
yeah, I don't think it's malicious like that, but somehow he got in and screwed things up. We made a backup of the database and a backup of the forum and everything, and we've had really biggest problem is trying to restore the database and get it all uploaded, because it was a very large database, a big forum, and we had a lot of issues trying to upload it directly and having SQL issues, and then there's all kinds of hosting and server connection issues. We switched to another host. I switched from my other host to GoDaddy, and then GoDaddy wasn't. It was all kinds of problems with vBulletin working with GoDaddy and all this other stuff. We eventually just said, screw this. I got my old host back, and we're currently working through. I'm working with a guy right now. He's really good with this stuff, but he works full time, and he's a really busy guy. So he's only doing this, helping out in his spare time. His name's Kyle, and he's actually an expert in hydrogen cars, and he's going to be my guest on an upcoming week to talk about hydrogen cars and some of the work that he's done.
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, I met that guy. He's
yeah.
smart. Yeah.
He's a smart guy, and so he's working on the forum, fixing it. He doesn't have like all the time, but it's gonna get fixed. It's gonna be back. It's not dead. We have it all saved and backed up. It's not completely. I remember reading that post. It's the demise of the AlienScientist forum, and it is kind of demise now. 6 months, man. It's dead. It's like it's been so long. I've been trying to get it back up. I wasted money on 3 different hosts. We got I bought the host out. It's like a free trial. You get So we got the free trial. I got through their tech support. They couldn't get it working. All 3 cases. I had their tech support multiple calls. They couldn't get it working. Couldn't figure it out. And then I get to that 30-day deadline, and it said, and I call up and cancel my thing, so I get my money back because they can't figure it out. I'm not going to pay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay for hosting if they can't fix the problem. So we tried 3 different ones. I just been busting my ass trying to get this done. Meanwhile, I have to work and I have to do other things too. I don't have all the time in the world to devote to that. So it's been a process. It's not gone completely. We have all your posts saved. People that I did a lot of work on that forum and posted a lot of stuff. All that stuff saved, except Danny's. Somehow your posts got deleted, and I don't know exactly who did that. We
figured that out. We figured that out in the past week, and you know what? I know it's a shock to you too, because when you read the comments that David Hilton was able to pull up from 2 years ago on Skype, shocked me completely, because Ed all along said, first it was the government, Dan, who hacked your
right.
who hacked my account. Okay, first he said the government hacked David's Skype. Then same guy hacked David's account on the forum,
for the record,
came after me.
David is David Hilton. He was one of the admins on our forum.
David Hilton, and you can see this all on the Outpost Forum under the saloon. All you got to do is type the search, the demise of the AlienScientist forum, and you'll find it. And David did a video, okay, showing himself go into his Skype and shows all the stuff. Ed was talking a lot of garbage about me, which I was shocked at. Well, I shouldn't be shocked, because that's what he does to people when they're not around. But
when you're on the phone with him though, he's, oh, hey buddy, hey best friend.
Yep. He had you convince Jeremy that I hacked into his account, Ed's account, and took myself off the forum. And he even says in there, if you've read that, he's like, yeah, Jeremy believes that Dan did it all to himself and all this stuff. And it's from 2 years ago. And thank goodness that David has the settings on his Skype account that he can go back infinitely. And he put it all out there. It's all out there. And it's like, gosh, and I can't wait till you read
Is that
it
why?
because
Because I talked to David a little bit last night. He texted me on Facebook, and then I had him call me, and we talked for a little bit. But then I was going out with a friend, so and then Ed called me like a few hours later while I was out, and I didn't answer it, and I'm like, oh boy, something, like Ed doesn't usually call me unless something's like freaking going down, and he's just, I don't know. The thing
well,
is,
he's going nuts because you know what? He's busted
he's
and
caused so many problems, and
I
he's
know.
pitted everyone against each other, and then he blames people. He says, "Oh, it's all Danny that was doing this." Oh, no,
Yep.
Demrine, it was David, and then he's, one minute it's pitting against each other, and it was just drama,
Yeah.
drama, drama, and that is exactly what a disinformation agent does.
He is the center of the drama, and I'm going to say it right here. I've known Ed better than anybody. I've known this guy for like 7 years, and he says all over the place, Dan knows me better than anybody. But I want to say something. Ed, what you did to me was beyond low, and you've lied to me for 2 years about it when I got kicked off the AlienScientist forum, and 875 posts of mine were deleted. You blamed it on a government hacker first. Then you blamed it on David Hilton. Then David Hilton pulls up and shows me. I barely knew David Hilton at the time. Ed gave David Hilton the green light to kick me off the forum and have all, but he didn't know that when he kicked me off the forum, though, that all my posts would be taken down because there's a checkbox there. And that's what happened. And it's your fault,
Well,
Ed. Whether
Ed
you like it
introduced
or
me
not.
to David too, so I met David through Ed, and David had a lot of experience running forums in the past. He ran a World of Warcraft forum for a number of years, very successful, and I invited him to be an admin because he's a great researcher. He did excellent work. I mean, we wasted about a year doing that Balls 85 F-15 crash investigation,
Yeah.
and turned up nothing. It was just a freaking plane that crashed during a test flight out in the freaking near Area 51.
Yep.
Ed
Ed
made up
said
this
it hit a
whole thing about a
spaceship.
giant UFO and spaceship was involved, and
And it was right there where Charles Hall and the Tall Whites are supposed to be. And I'm like, Ed, why can't I introduce my Charles Hall and the Tall White story? Oh, no, we don't want to get that mixed up in this. It's like, Ed, it fits. It was 1977. They've been there supposedly since the 1950s. Why can't I introduce this in as just speculation, as just the thought? No, we're not going to put the Charles Hall thing in there. It's just like he has to have complete control of everything. But there's a reason for that. And I'm not sure what it is.
it might
But-
just be his personality. I don't think that, like,
Yeah.
honestly, having known Ed as long as I have and you have, I really think that's just how he is, because I've talked to people that knew him before too, and I think that's just kind of the way he is. He's just a military guy who wants to be the center of attention, and he's just probably old and bored, doesn't have any friends, and wants to create excitement in his life because there is none. He lives out in a small town in the middle of a freaking field in Texas, Mason, Texas, and he's got nothing better to do than start up shit and make drama so he can watch it all freaking erupt around him and sit back and eat popcorn and laugh about it or whatever.
I mean, I feel sorry for the guy because if that's all you have in your life, man, it's really got to suck. But I just can't believe, well, I can believe that he was the one that did that to me those 2 years ago and then blamed it on everybody else.
I know it
here-
was him. I know it was him that deleted all your
Yeah.
freaking posts, man. And you had a lot of work put into that. And
Some of those posts, Jeremy, I wrote that were for like 5 pages. I mean, just the first.
I wish I
quotes.
had a backup of before he did that, like an older backup that I could go back and get those somehow. But I don't know. I only have a few backups. I don't know.
Yeah.
Once the forum does come back online, man, I'm gonna be much more involved with it. I'm gonna be doing backups every month, if maybe twice a month even. And I really want to get more involved with that because we could have a good thing going with those forums,
Sure.
man. Yeah, there were a lot of idiots on there, a lot of people posting stupid stuff and drawing these debates out. Again, distracting, dividing, every the methods that we've all seen before. But at the
It's
same time,
amazing.
I was putting together some good information and getting some good posts and stuff out there. But I think that's what happens, man. We were getting really close to the truth, and we were getting a lot of really good information out and connecting a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And that there's nothing that scares them more than organized intelligence.
Exactly.
And their best weapon against that is just to stir the pot with as much bullshit, muddy the water as much as possible, try to confuse, distract, discredit, throw in all these other no plane theories with the 9/11 stuff, the you know, there's a lot of tactics and strategies involved, but it's mostly about just mixing as many bullshit theories and bullshit stuff out there just to distract. That's their only hope, really, is that they know the information's out there. They know that it's people like me are doing that analysis work and compiling, breaking this stuff down, and putting stuff together for people. And the only way they can really combat against that is to just put out so much bullshit that it distracts away from it, or so much other stuff that
it causes all these arguments within,
right.
and everybody implodes, and that's exactly what happened.
It fractures the crystal structure, because we're trying to form as a coherent crystal structure where I'm going to say that, you know, this is uniform across all of us, you know, that we can unify and come to this agreement on this mass agreement on all these things.
Yep.
But the 9/11 truth movement hasn't been able to do that, because they want these no planers come in and say, oh, well, we want to be part of this movement too, and you know, you got to be open to all theories and blah blah blah. And the minute you do that, you're just discrediting yourself and saying that you're open to believing bullshit, which they'll use to discredit you and say, look, oh, this is what these people believe, and they'll make that the focus of the entire thing, and they won't even get to any of the harder evidence or anything else. So
exactly.
It's a way to fracture the movement. It's a way to just get people arguing over stupid shit. It's a way to waste good researchers like myself. It's a way to take us and waste our time, just bog us down, and not only waste our time, but waste our mental stamina and our psychological stamina. Because, you know, you can only do this stuff for so long before it has an effect on you, and you have to take a break. I've had to take several breaks because it just gets to you after a while, man. Yeah, you get physically sick, physically ill and stuff.
And then you get very angry, because it's like you have to reply. You almost have to just save your replies, because there's so many people that will say, let's say this, and then, but you've already replied to another person that just said that same thing yesterday. So you almost have to start saving all your replies. That's what I did after a while with a certain case. And I just saved all my replies and just, you know, copy it and boom, paste it in there.
I used to do that. Have a big freaking log.
Yeah.
I'd have a text notepad file just full of friggin' different replies to every point.
Exactly.
And I go over every argument. I'd have a file for no playing theory. I'd have a file for Judy Wood. And eventually, I got those things so big, we actually condensed them with a couple other people in these groups in 9/11 Truth Movement with Ken Dock and a couple other guys. We condensed them into these huge debunking lists of like every single point refuted. Like, here, look it up. And those are very helpful for other researchers that are just starting out, or maybe don't have the time to really, because it takes years to go through all that shit, man. It will bog you down, and people don't regularly have the time to do it. You know, people that have 2 jobs and a kid or family, you know, they don't got time to freaking fart around on YouTube like us freaking losers, single assholes, you know.
I like being a single asshole, though, because it does provide me with the time to find the truth, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't trade this in for a kid and a girlfriend. I don't
way.
care who.
It's funny. I'll say
too much fun, man.
I know.
I got my buddies online. We just sit here and shoot the shit and have crazy conversations and like, well, what about this? And then the debates too, man. Like, I love just arguing about different things. And
the next thing you know, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and you got something to do at 7 a.m. You know, it's like, I'm not going to get much sleep tonight. But that has happened so many times, you know. But like, I mentioned the name Alex Jones to my sister, for instance. She was out in California and stuff, and she's like, who's Alex Jones? Who's Alex Jones? I'm like, how could you not?
Yeah, how could you not know that name?
When I was interviewed for NASA's Unexplained Files, one of the things to me was they said, you know, Dan, you know, people find that people that investigate UFOs and stuff, because UFOs is like my main thing. 9/11, I'm not the greatest guy to talk to about. I've never really gotten into that much, except for the 20-minute difference in the BBC video. People, they asked me from the NASA's Unexplained Files, they said, Dan, you know, you're not the norm. They said, you know, the investigating UFOs is not the norm. People will say you're nuts and this and that. And I say this. I say the person that is nuts is the person that doesn't look into this information.
People that thinks it's normal to just watch sports and friggin', You know,
Yeah.
celebrity gossip, you know, like that's normal. That's normal though.
Kardashian.
That's normal though. Really? Really?
Yeah.
Kanye West, fucking
Yeah. That jerk. He's a jerk.
Justin Bieber though, that's normal. I mean, look at the most
Yeah.
two most followed people on Twitter, Katy Perry and Justin Bieber. That's normal, right? So
Yeah.
so that, I mean, that's really, I mean, what kind of model are you really comparing us to, or making for themselves?
And
Honestly.
mainstream media, they use these people to get views. They are like, oh, hold on a minute. At the end of the hour, we're going to talk about Kim Kardashian's implants or something, you know? But
We got like 2 or 3 minutes left, Danny.
Okay.
I wanted to touch on real quick. You did mention the NASA undisclosed files, and I wanted to mention real quick that I was due to be on that show. I was talking to the producers. They were set to fly out here to Boston to come interview me and a couple other people.
Yes,
and
sir.
friggin' Ed Fouche friggin' ruined that. He threw that whole thing in the bucket. He wrote some friggin' nasty emails and destroyed that for us because I was going to debunk the TR-3B, that piece of triangular shrapnel. I found a higher definition image of it that looked, it was clearly not a TR-3B. It was clearly a piece of thermal insulation tile. And I showed it to.
He exploded when you showed that.
He flipped out and exploded and basically got like wrote some kind of crazy email to them about it, got me kicked off the show. So I would have been on NASA's undisclosed files. Danny was on it. He was on the first episode, I think the second episode, but I think some of the stuff that he was talking about was actually too extreme, too controversial. I think the information was a little too hardcore for mainstream television audiences. So I'm pretty sure we're not, I don't know, we'll see if we see him in any future episodes. But
no, NASA's unexplained files, there were 4 episodes. After episode 2, we got a group message that we were number 3 on cable, and they were going to go through with episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on episode 5, I was supposed to have 10 minutes and all this stuff. And the next thing you know, guess what? 5, 6, 7, and 8 were canceled. And the 3 producers that I used to talk to no longer work there, and they gave me the name of a lady to talk to. I emailed her 7 times, and the show's been canceled. 5, 6, 7, and 8 were canceled. Now, there's
some producer on there, like someone at the TV network probably found out what the heck you guys were going to talk about and was like, oh no, hell no.
Oh, they pre-screen everything.
Oh,
I think the FCC pre-screen. Listen, if NASA's
Operation
involved,
Mockingbird, man.
if NASA's involved, the government is going to pre-screen it before they're going to allow it. And I guarantee you, when they saw the stuff we were talking about, like the secret space program and the, you know, all this other stuff, they were like, no way, you know.
Nope. Too close to the truth, man.
Yeah.
Hey, can we bring up that Bob Lazar guy and those aliens again, man? Let's talk about element 115 and the triangular shaped piece of anti-gravity propulsion.
The wedge-shaped 115 pieces that they're machining at Los Alamos, that they don't know what they're machining. And who needs to machine a triangle?
Honestly, it's all the people that hate on me for my debunking of Bob Lazar. Hey, Bob Lazar, if it comes out tomorrow that some scientists discover a stable isotope of element 115 with anti-gravity properties, I'll believe Bob Lazar. That's all I need. But that's it.
Absolutely. So will I.
Time is up.
Time's up, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you next week.